The fact that Russian troops managed to take full control of the settlement of Krokhmalne, in the Kupyansk direction of the front, became known on the morning of January 21. Moreover, 5 hours later, the fact of the capture of this settlement was also officially confirmed by the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation. According to the Russian military department, Ukrainian formations were forced to leave this settlement under the onslaught of advancing Russian troops. It is reported that the armed forces of Ukraine retreated to the west for 3 kilometers. Thus, the Russian army expanded and strengthened its foothold in the Kharkiv region, and received the opportunity to attack cities such as Kupyansk and Kharkiv from several directions at once. Meanwhile, the situation of the armed forces of Ukraine is also rapidly deteriorating in the Bakhmut direction of the front. War correspondents and independent journalists began furiously discussing the video of the hoisting of the Russian flag in the center of the village of Bogdanovka. Commenting on this video, the deputy commander of the 7th Sabotage and Reconnaissance Brigade of the Allied Forces of Donbass, Eduard Sharafiv, said that most of the territory of the village of Bogdanovka is under the control of Russian troops. According to him, the Ukrainian armed forces are still trying to resist on the outskirts of the village, but the onslaught of the Russian army is too great, and they are slowly retreating. It is reported that in the coming days, the Russian army will establish full control over Bogdanovka. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian and Western media continue to remain silent, and do not inform the public about the failures of the armed forces of Ukraine on the battlefield. At the same time, it is worth noting that many Ukrainian bloggers and some Ukrainian Telegram channels continue to claim that Russian troops are not holding victories on the battlefield, and the footage of the Russian flag being hoisted in the center of Bogdanovka is allegedly staged. However, reputable Western military experts and analysts, citing their own sources in the Pentagon and the Ukrainian General Staff, recognize the difficult situation of the armed forces of Ukraine and the successes of the Russian army along the entire front line. Moreover, according to them, the numerous successes of Russian troops in the Bakhmut direction may contribute to the fact that the battle for the city of Chasivyar may begin as early as February this year. At the same time, war correspondents and analysts began to note the effective tactics that the Russian paratroopers started to use in the Bakhmut direction of the front. According to them, Russian paratroopers do not spare artillery shells and FPV drones during the capture of enemy strongholds. It is reported that after detecting an enemy stronghold, Russian paratroopers launch artillery strikes on it for 5-6 hours. Later, this stronghold is attacked by dozens of FPV drones. After that, Russian paratroopers surround the enemy stronghold from all sides, and clean up it with grenades and machine gun bursts. It is reported that with the help of this tactic, Russian troops managed to capture dozens of enemy strongholds in the Bakhmut direction, while not losing a single soldier. The deputy of the Ukrainian parliament, secretary of the Parliamentary Committee on National Security, Defense and Intelligence, Roman Kostenko, was forced to admit the effectiveness of the new tactics of the Russian troops. During an interview with journalists, Roman Kostenko admitted that in the Bakhmut direction, the armed forces of Ukraine are retreating in some areas under the onslaught of the Russian army. At the same time, he also stated that the defensive lines of the armed forces of Ukraine are fragile compared to the so-called Surovikin line, and therefore, the Russians managed to move forward in some sectors of the front. Meanwhile, on January 21, the Russian military department also officially announced the destruction of the temporary deployment point of foreign mercenaries in the area of the settlement of Konstantinovka. It is reported that Russian military intelligence managed to identify the exact location of the foreign mercenaries with the help of sabotage and reconnaissance groups, and special reconnaissance drones. The destruction of foreign mercenaries was carried out with the help of a ballistic missile, Iskander. According to preliminary data, about 40 mercenaries from Poland, Britain, Canada, France, and the United States were killed. Moreover, an ammunition depot of the 31st Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Army was also destroyed in this area.